Cashflow Ninja, the podcast sharing how to create and grow income streams and manage, multiply, and protect your wealth in the new economy. Are you tired of trading your time for money? Do you desire freedom today instead of retirement in 10, 20, or 30 years? I'm MC Selfdirected, and this is the Cashflow Ninja.
Hello, Cashflow Ninjas. MC Selfdirected here, and welcome to another episode of the Cashflow Ninja. I have a great show for you today. In today's show, I'm joined by Ryan Fischer. He is a self-directed expert with CamaPlan. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me, MC. Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to connect. Ryan, for folks that are not familiar with you and what you do, can you please share a little bit about your background and journey with them?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ryan Fischer with CamaPlan, we do self-directed IRA investing. Basically, that gives people the opportunity to choose their investments and not be limited to Wall Street.
And how did you get into the business, Ryan, too? And you also are an investor. When did you figure out this way outside of Wall Street and that there's another world, an alternative world that exists? At the time of recording, I have to point this out. Of course, there's a lot of chaos and uncertainty and so forth with this virus, this COVID-19 virus, but also in the markets. The markets are sort of melting down, but there are folks that have found alternatives to just the Wall Street casino. When did this happen for you?
Yeah, so I actually found out about it in high school. My dad, Carl Fischer, and Maggie Palisano, his sister, are the founders of CamaPlan. And I was introduced to it at a young age, and the first thing I did was tax liens out of the IRA. However, I've done some other stuff now at this point. A lot of myself, I grew up in real estate. My grandfathers, did real estate. My dad did real estate. So I've been around the real estate world for a long time. And private lending is big out there. A lot of people are lending on real estate. I've done that as well. So it's it's a great opportunity to kind of take, there's risk in everything that you're going to do. But the goal is to mitigate that risk, right? And that's what we all want to do, so we can kind of diversify our portfolios in what we kind of call as alternative investments. Most of our clients, feel that that's a good route for them because it's not market related. The rent doesn't change because of what the market does. So you can buy 123 Ocean Ave, and your X dollars comes in every month, no matter what. People always need a roof over their head. Like you've heard the saying out there, it's always a landlord's market, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And I think a trend sort of started with this alternative investment space. I would say, like, when I first got involved with it, it was not not popular at all. But I think that a lot of folks are starting to realize that I don't have to hand my money over, lose all control that I have to someone else, and let them manage and invest it for me, hoping that they know what they are doing, right? It's just the cycle just keeping on continue. I can actually be in control of my capital and direct it towards investments where I would have more control over it. Speak to our audience and our viewers a little bit, maybe to self-directed IRAs, self-directed qualified retirement plans, and all these other vehicles that can be self-directed, and maybe share exactly what it is, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there of exactly what it is. This isn't a fidelity account where you get to pick your own stocks. It's a little bit something different. Maybe you can share a little bit more about that with my listeners and my viewers.
Yeah, great question. So I'm going to start off by saying So self-directed is an adjective in front of an IRA. To the IRS, an IRA is an IRA. All the rules, distributions, contributions, etc., are the same at a brokerage house, right? There's no different from taking your account and moving it from, Merrill Lynch to Fidelity or Vanguard or whatever. All those rules are the same here at CamaPlan. The difference is we don't limit you. They'll even tell you have a self-directed IRA, and what they mean by that is, hey, here's our list of stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can direct it into anything that you want that's on this list. So the difference is, and we don't give any investment advice. So you are literally directing it. You're picking it. You want to buy 123 Ocean Ave. You're going to say, hey, CamaPlan, buy 123 Ocean Ave, or lend John Doe X dollars at X percent, right? The majority of the investments I see our clients in are real estate and private lending. A lot of that private lending is secured to real estate. And then private placements, which are private funds. A lot of those are notes tied to real estate, as well as real estate funds themselves. But that includes other businesses as well. And I think people do better when, nobody, you and I can agree, I think, that nobody's going to watch your money more closely than you are. The guy at the brokerage house still needs to eat too, and he's not that worried about you.
Right. So what type of accounts can be self-directed? Because there are many different, a Baskin Robbins of flavors of different accounts. What type of accounts can be self-directed? Can all of them be self-directed, or is there a certain type of account that can be self-directed?
Yeah, so any qualified funds. So that includes traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, one of my favorite accounts, health savings accounts, educational savings accounts, solo 401ks, and that can be Roth or tax deferred as well. You can use any of those types of accounts to do this. So for example, you could take your health savings account and buy a house with it.
Yeah. So type of investments that make sense for this in these accounts. You've mentioned real estate already. We've mentioned private lending. Private lending is a great one, and especially if you're in a network like such as the Philadelphia real estate network. What a network this is. There's a lot of operators in there, a lot of guys moving and shaking. So there's a lot of opportunity and guys looking for money that has a track record of turning around properties or fixing it up and so forth. What other types of vehicles have you seen and have folks self-directed through CamaPlan?
Yeah, it really depends on the person. I've seen a lot of different deals and a lot of private deals done. But for example, right, it's going to depend on the person and where they are. Real estate is work, right? So not everybody has the time to do that. Take, for example, the doctor, right? Well, he has to be in there, doing surgery. He might not have the time that someone else does for real estate, but he would gladly say, oh, well, I'd like to diversify my portfolio, and I'll take, X dollars, and I gladly lend it to you, secured to real estate so that you can do real estate. So it works two ways for people, right? Obviously, they want to build their own wealth, and I think that they should use those IRAs to do that themselves. But it's also another funding force for people that are out there that are flipping. I work with these guys all the time, and I've never seen anybody tell me yet that they have too much money. Everybody says, well, if I had more money, I'd buy more properties. So it's another funding source, and you don't have all the red tape to get something from a bank. Hey, you meet this, you like this deal. Okay, great. I want to be a part of it, and you cut your terms, and it's just a great way to do it and raise funds. A lot of people out there that are buying these, single family, but this also goes to big apartment complexes and stuff. They'll create a PPM, right? and, pool the funds to do this. And then somebody's part of a bigger project, an apartment complex, or, a skyscraper building.
Yeah. So just to recap on some of the stuff. So real estate is obviously in their private lending, and again, speak with your tax professional and strategist, because there are investments that make sense to be self-directed and to be structured a certain way with these vehicles. And I'm not a CPA or an accountant or a tax strategist, nor do I play one on YouTube, and neither does Ryan. So speak with someone about this, because there's a right way to do things, such with everything in life, right? And there's an incorrect and a wrong way to do things. So now that that's out of the way, some of the stuff just that I'm thinking about that folks have done in our network is private lending is obviously a big one. A lot of syndications, PPMs, and so forth. So if you're raising capital from investors, or you're looking for money for your deals, whether it be the flips, whether you're doing the BRRRR method, right? The buy, rehab, rent, and repeat, basically. If you're doing that and looking for capital, there's ways to do it. I've also seen where folks self-direct these vehicles, retirement plans, and invest in other securities, right? So, for example, a life settlement fund, not a specific life insurance policy, that's different, but a fund bundled is a security, which folks in our network have utilized self-directed accounts to invest with. So if you think about it, use it. That you have full control over your retirement vehicles, right? And full control over your money, and you can actually self-direct it into a vehicle that's non-correlated to stock markets, financial markets, and a lot of the economy, a lot of other different things, right? So there's a lot of different ways to do this, and there's many different ways. I haven't even touched on gold and silver. Maybe you want to speak to that. Is that something that folks can actually buy within these vehicles as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do, that is another one that is popular, and that's going to be, again, through the IRA. It's going to be stored at a depository. We use IDS in Delaware.
MC Laubscher, the creator of the Cashflow Ninja and Cashflow Coach at Producers Wealth, where we help our clients integrate infinite banking with their business and investments. To learn how you can create your own banking system to turbocharge your investments and business in 30 days or less, go to yourownbankingsystem.com. That's yourownbankingsystem.com.
But yeah, precious metals is definitely a because they limit you. You can't do gems and things like that. But yeah, gold, silver, platinum, palladium are allowable investments in the IRA.
There's also certain, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also certain types, let's just say silver or gold coins, that are allowable and some that are not. So when you're looking at these things, make sure that the coins that you're intending to purchase is actually allowable to be held in self-directed accounts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think they have to be, 0.999 pure.
Right. So it's bullion coins, not a lot of numismatic coins.
Right.
How about cryptocurrencies? That's another thing out there. Are these some things that can be bought and held in these accounts?
Yes, they can be. And I'll just step back a little bit there. So like you were saying before, the IRS never tells you what you can invest in, only what you cannot invest in. And that's collectibles and life insurance. And that includes, works of art and that kind of stuff as well. But so to step back again a little bit, so IRAs were created in the 70s, right? Yep. This has been around since the 70s. Only the really wealthy people were able to self-direct, because they don't tell someone with $1 billion no.
Right.
So the broker, they have done it. It's been around. But take, for example, something like cryptocurrency. That's a good point. Well, that didn't exist back then, and the IRS hasn't come out and said that you can't do it, right? They haven't said that you can, but like I said, they don't tell you what you can do, only what you cannot do. So yes, and there are clients that have done that.
Right. Now, you guys are based in the Philadelphia area. You've got clients from around the United States, or is it a lot more local?
No, I mean, last time I checked, which was actually a few years ago, we had clients in all 48 states. Obviously, we have a big presence in the Northeast, but no, we have plenty of clients all over. A lot of them in Florida. Um, I'd say out west is a little bit less, but I mean, we have thousands of clients, so yes, they're all,
All over the place, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And what is it? What does the process look like working with you guys if someone wants to take control of their IRA or roll over something, a retirement account from a previous employer, for example? What does that process look like, and how do they get control of this moving forward to be in control of their capital and their investments and their money?
it's really simple process. You would go online and open up an account like you would anywhere else. It takes you about 15 minutes from our website. You can have the funds here. Generally speaking, I say 2 weeks. It can come a little more quickly or a little more slowly, but basically, depending on the type of account, if it's in an IRA, you would just fill out our transfer form and we'll go get that money for you. If it's in, retirement account like a 401k or 403b or other, other qualified plans, you would do a rollover. So
Yep.
you just fill out their form and say, hey, I'm sending this over to CamaPlan. You'll give them our information. They'll cut the check, send it over. And again, that's roughly 2 weeks. But yeah, it's a really simple process. It's like moving it from anywhere else. I find that that is a question a lot of people have, because a lot of the time, they've, oh, I've been with my advisor for 20 years. And it's not something that they commonly do, but it's pretty easy. You'll put the money into cash and you'll fill out their form or our form, depending on the account, and the money will come over. And then once it's here, it's as simple as them just selecting the investment that they want to do and giving us the paperwork to do it. And we process everything within 48 hours of them telling us to do it.
Yeah, I have a feeling that after what's happening right now in the markets and what's still happening, that a lot of folks, once they understand and know about the option to self-direct, I think a lot of people moving forward are going to start to take control of their money, of their retirement accounts, and of their overall wealth strategy, as we've spoken about quite a bit. One habit I've observed from wealthy and successful people is that they're always studying new things and learning, and there's so much around just self-directed IRAs in the industry that you're in to stay on top of. What are you studying and learning?
Yeah, I don't know. Just add one thing to that. Not everybody obviously knows about this, so there is a learning curve. One, the first spot is they have to find out about this, and then their question leads them to, oh, is this really legal? And it's all there. They can get that right from the IRS. But yeah, I'm always learning. I'm always looking out there. I'm looking at other deals. I've found stuff through investors that, I'm interested in myself. And I think that, I'm in a unique spot to be able to see, and the people that we meet in the meetings, some of them that you and I have been to, we get to meet interesting people and we get to learn what they've so I always take the opportunity, take the time to listen to somebody.
Yeah, the networking is phenomenal, and the meetings and the presentations that we've seen. We belong to a lot of similar groups. It's just so powerful. And in this time, I definitely want to say to folks that, it always comes basically down to basics. I try to always relate it to sports, and coaching sports is doing the basics well by investing in yourself, number one, and learning, and also investing in people, your network, and continue to invest in relationships and grow relationships. That's going to get you through any downturn and any recession. Anything else that you want to add to that, and maybe something that you want to share, and some of the things that you're looking at doing, during this downturn that it seems that it's here, and the recession that's arrived?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, and I think you always want to keep growing your network because, um,
Life settlement investments have allowed financial and banking institutions to not only buy their equity contractually, but also diversify their capital from any economic, market, and geopolitical risk. It's been part of the billion-dollar blueprint followed by institutional investors. And if you're an accredited investor, you can also now participate in this vehicle with enormous growth potential. You can watch an informational webinar presented by one of the premier organizations providing life settlement investments, Penumbra Solutions, at cashflowninja.com/life settlements.
I'm not a billionaire. I mean, you can take people that have money and they can pay for big legal teams and accounting teams that find this stuff out and can help them with that. But for the average person, they're not going to get some of the opportunity. And there's big opportunities. Like I said, there's people buying, big apartment complexes, which are great cash flow and building equity into them and getting it there. So I think everybody should take the time and look at it. And you don't have to bring all of it to this. Like I said, it's great to be diversified, but I think this should be part of everybody's portfolio, to be able to diversify.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say you don't have to be a Rockefeller to do what the Rockefellers do.
Exactly.
You could take certain things, certain strategies and certain principles and even certain tactics and implement it within your own life on a smaller scale. And if you start doing things consistently, you'll see massive changes, as with anything in life, right? Now, our core message in our show is to leave our families, communities, and the world better than we found it by passing down a mindset, values, and principles to future generations, not just money. So if you cannot pass on any money to future generations, and we're only allowed to pass on 3 principles to them to build wealth and achieve happiness and success, what would they be?
Well, the first one I would say is integrity and being honest. Um, it's kind of like a joke. My dad always told me, tell the truth so you don't have to remember what you said.
What?
And the other thing I would say that I think is big is communication. Taking the time. I mean, I talk with my dad and my brothers a lot. You don't have to do everything. We don't all have the answers. You want to be able to get some other people's input because they might have a different perspective on there. So I think keeping good communication with your core people, family, and stuff is very important because I'm a twin, so Chad's technically the oldest, and I have 2 younger brothers. But I've learned stuff from my younger brothers as well. So I think that communication is a big one. And then I would say respect. I think everyone should be respectful of everybody, no matter where you are in life. I mean, I've been the low guy in the totem pole, and I'm also not a billionaire. But I think everybody should be respectful.
Absolutely. Can you speak to the role of mentorship? I mean, your dad is what a guy, great man, and someone that I look up to and respect and learn from. Can you speak to the role of just mentors in your life and having them in your life?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's been one of my biggest mentors. I mean, people out there joke around. I mean, he worked for the Space Center and he's a rocket scientist, and people joke. But I mean, aside from that, there's a lot of other stuff that I've learned from him. Like I said, I mean, I've literally, dug a footer, and I've also put shingles on a roof and almost everything else in between. So he's always been there, and even more on the helping you to achieve and encouraging you. He's a very helpful person. He's always willing to help other people through my entire life. I mean, he was helping tutor kids on our baseball team, if they needed math help or this. So he's always made himself available, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, where can folks learn more about you and your company? Where can they reach out to you guys for more information? By the way, there's a ton of educational resources on your website too. You guys do a fantastic job putting out education, webinars, different case studies. There's just hours of great content. Where can folks get a hold of this and reach out to you guys to have a conversation if they're interested in learning more about self-direction and if they want to take control of their retirement funds and money?
So I would encourage everyone to go to our website, which is CamaPlan.com. That's CAMAPLAN.com. I can be personally reached at R Fischer, and that's RFISCHER at CamaPlan.com. And our phone number is on the website, 215-283-2868. But I encourage everybody to do that. There's a lot of helpful resources on our website. So take a look at that, give us a call, and we'll walk you through any of the other questions that you may have.
Awesome, my friend. Well, a pleasure connecting and seeing you again. And thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and providing so much value for my listeners and my viewers.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I hope everybody finds this useful to them.
This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objectives, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, timeliness, or completeness.